What's the deal, baby? Y'all didn't know it is that big boss how boss dog cake poke through the door. Get to talk to the boxer. Yesterday I was driving to work and I listened to Tszyu's interview. Shout out to Tszyu. You know, he's living his best life right now. You know what I mean? You know, he's doing a lot of good things, a lot of interviews. He's talking how a confident fighter should talk. But he talked about Jermell Charlo. And, you know, Tszyu kind of feeling himself, man. He was like, you know, the reporter asked about Charlo's hand injury. He was like, how frustrating is it to, you know, be waiting on Charlo? And he was like, oh, you know, I want Charlo to, you know, heal up his so-called hand injury. And like I said, I pay attention to words. He said so-called. I said, So basically, you're alluding to that he's faking a hand injury. Okay. That's his viewpoint. But then he says Charlo's on the decline. And he said there'll be a new champion. Man, there'll be a new day. You know, he said Charlo is declining as a fighter. And, you know, basically was, you know, talking like, you know, Charlo ain't built like that. And, you know, things like that. And let me just give my 2 cents. Like I said before, I respect Tszyu for his point of view. Now I'm going to tell mine. That nigga Tszyu gonna get stopped. I'm telling you, bro. Look, I like Tszyu. He got power. You know what I mean? And he has a puncher's chance to beat Charlo. He do. The only way he gonna beat Charlo is if Charlo coming in our focus and, you know, Tszyu start landing them bombs on him. Tszyu got power. But that's all he got. You know what I mean? In the interview, he was talking about, you know, I can box too. I can do this. I can do that. You know, apparently that reporter must have seen one of my videos because he was talking to him about, you know, he was talking to him like, man, there's people out here who are saying that, you know, you're a one-trick pony. And, you know, and Tszyu was like, well, I can box too. I can do many different things. And I'm like, bro, you only can do one thing, and that's come forward and fight. You can't fight off the back foot. I'm telling you right now, the dude can't fight going backwards. And I'm telling you, the only way he not going to lose this fight against Charlo is if he's able to take away Charlo's jab and make Charlo fight a different type of fight. I say that. And he's able to keep Charlo's back on those ropes. That's it. Other than that, dude gonna get stopped. If he can't do that, which I predict he won't be able to do that. Because you gotta understand, it's levels in this boxing game. Just like Ryan Garcia versus Tank, we just saw that. I had people telling me, bro, Ryan is fast, he's big, he hits hard, he's explosive. I said levels of this. It's not always about hitting hard, bro. It's levels to this. And y'all don't understand that. Jermell Charlo has fought many different fighters. Top competition. Been in there with power punchers, to skillful boxers, to boxer punchers, he's seen every style, right? He finna get in there with Tszyu, right? Who fights one way, and that's it. One way. He got one thing he can do good. That's come forward, hit, and punch hard. That's it. He don't move his head. He's not defensively responsible. None of that stuff. And I get it. You're supposed to believe in yourself, and I respect him for believing in himself. But we got to be real. That boy getting sparked. He finna knock the kangaroo jack out of that boy if he get in there with Charlo. It's levels in this boxing game. I'm not even saying just based off Charlo's accomplishments. It's things that I see Tszyu do in that ring. I'm like, for example, last fight against Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison was landing that right on him. Right? Each fight. I watched the Terrell Goucher fight. And I watched the Tony Harrison fight. Right? From Tszyu. Because they was talking about Tszyu. I was like, But I watched the Terrell Goucher fight, which he came back and, you know, did phenomenally well in that fight. I watched in the Tony Harrison fight, right? So Terrell Goucher and Tony Harrison fight. That right hand, he's susceptible to it. What is Jermell Charlo's #1 punch? That right. That bomb. I don't know what it is. He keep getting hit by it. And I'm telling you, if he don't change, if he don't fix that flaw in his camp, I'm sorry. I don't see, you know what I'm saying? I don't see. He got to be real. I don't see. Now, what I think Tszyu should do, right? Because the fan of me is like, put him in there with Jermell Charlo. But the fighter side of me is like, from another perspective, I'm like, he still got to work on some things. I say put him in there with Tszyu Lubin and Brian Mendoza, right? I feel like those are very tough, and Brian Castano. If he's able to fight those 3 fights and win all of them, he ready. And he can fight all 3 of those fights. Because when the last time he fought? I think he fought this year. So he can fight another fight in the summer, right? He can fight in July. I put him in there with Brian Mendoza or Brian Castano. See if he gets through Brian Castano. Then put him in there with Mendoza at the end of the year, and then at the top of the year, put him in with Tszyu Lubin. If he able to get through all of them, and I feel like that will give him the experience he need. I feel a little differently going into that fight with Jermell Charlo. And the reason why I say this is because when you fight those type of fights, you gain different experience. You get what I mean? You get little nuggets and little gems, and you learn different things to make you better, to prepare you for that time. He ain't there yet, bro. Like, I say this, he's almost there, but he ain't there yet. If he getting there right now, he getting stopped. I'm telling you, he getting his head knocked off. If he getting there with Charlo right now. That's my perspective. But if he's able to get if he able to fight a couple of more crafty, tough fighters, I could sit there saying, it could be a 50-50 fight. I could see, you know what I mean? I can see the angle. I'm be truthful. I can see the angle. He got to get more experience under his belt. He's inexperienced. And I get it, you believe in yourself. But, no. Now, Jermell Charlo is not Floyd Mayweather, right? He's not. But I'm talking about from the experience. When Floyd got in there with Canelo, and they was hyping Canelo, and I'm not saying Tszyu is Canelo, but I'm just saying, like, experience matters, right? Ryan Garcia got in there with Tank. Experience matters. Tank has fought those fights. You get what I mean? Were they elite fighters? No, but they were good fighters. And he was able to learn from each and every experience. So when he came into the fight with Ryan, it was like, oh, I'm going to do this to him. His IQ was on display. Why? Because he stayed in the gym, he worked on stuff, but also it was his fight experience. Tszyu don't have that fight experience, right? He don't. And that's all I'm saying. Now, I could be wrong. He could be ready right now. I don't think so. Right? We got to call spade a spade. Now, Tszyu said he said Charlo's number 1 and he's the number 2 guy, 154 pounds. I disagree with that too. I feel like there is no number 2. You can't sit there and say you number 2 because you the only one that's undefeated. I don't feel like you're the number 2 154 pounder. I feel like it's a lot of people. You could make the argument Brian Mendoza is number 2. I mean, Brian Mendoza knocked out Fundura. The Towering Inferno. Like, he knocked him out. Like, that boy's laying on the mat like he didn't even know where he was at. You feel me? You can make the argument Brian Mendoza's number 2. You can make it Tszyu Lubin number 2. You make an argument Brian Castano number 2. You can't use because he's the only one left that's undefeated. No. These dudes, these other dudes, they've all been fighting each other. Now I get it. He's been expedited to be number 1 contender. And I respect that. But at the end of the day, we got to call a spade a spade. If he get in there right now, Jermell Charlo, it's over. All I say is over. like I said, the fan in me is like, put that nigga in there. He want to get in there. He want the smoke. Give it to him. The fighter in me is like, maybe he need to get a little bit more experience on this belt. Like, you know, take a couple more fights. Fight Brian Mendoza. That'd be a big fight. Fight Brian Mendoza. You know? You could do that. Or fight Eric Salubin. I know Eric Salubin got a fight. He's fighting somebody. But I'm just saying, fight Eric Salubin. Fight Brian Castano. You know what I mean? Like, those are fights you can fight, cuz. So, I don't know, man, you know. I don't think he ready right now. But like I said, if he want that smoke, put him in there. I know the Australian fans are going to be like, no, crikey, mate. He's ready right now. You're just afraid that he's going to beat Jermell Charlo. I don't care. I'm all, like I said, I'm all for the better. If this going to make boxing better, cool. I'm just saying history, based off history. Y'all Europeans, y'all come over here, all this hype, and then you get cooked. You know what I mean? Y'all be hyped up, come over here, yeah, and then get cooked. So, I don't know. We got to see if Tszyu really like that. Like, you know? I remember one dude talking about Tszyu a pit bull. Man, that boy a poodle. We'll see, though. You know, all jokes aside, we'll see, you know, what he is. You know what I mean? Like, we won't know until he get in the ring. You know? I think Tszyu is pretty predictable, you know? But, hey, he may be able to make something happen against Charlo. I don't know. You know, like I said, the only way he beat Charlo is if he able to land a bomb on Charlo and knock him out. He got a puncher's chance. That's it. That's what I see. I don't see him getting in there and punishing Charlo. He got a puncher's chance. His best bet is coming there. If he getting there right now, his best chance is to come in there and try to land a shot to hurt Charlo. That's the only thing I see. That one shot. You know, his overhand right. That's the only thing I see him being able to do to Charlo. Other than that, he gonna need to get a little bit more experience under his belt. That's my perspective. Boss gone.